Here is something the majority of Americans over 65 have never had presented to them in a single clear location. A complete breakdown of the bills you are genuinely permitted to stop paying, or pay significantly less on, the moment you reach that age. Some of these are advantages sitting right out in the open where anyone could find them. Some are tax reductions that automatically shrink what you owe without you doing a single thing. And some only activate when you complete one particular form. Skip that form, and you continue paying the full amount for years, while the person living 2 houses away stopped paying the very day they became eligible. The difference between those two people was never about how much money they had. It was purely about who happened to know what to request. And we are not discussing small amounts here. When you total up what a typical retiree overpays on property taxes, Medicare premiums, prescription medications, and tax credits they never pursued, you are regularly looking at thousands of dollars annually draining away without a sound, year after year. Researchers consistently identify the same pattern. Enormous sums in benefits and credits that older adults already qualify for go uncollected every single year simply because no one told the people those benefits belong to that they needed to step up and ask. This is not money the government delivers to your door. It waits under your name until you come forward and claim it. One significant update arrived in 2026 that is already returning real money directly into seniors' accounts without them lifting a finger. I will walk you through how to get the maximum value from it. And the final item on this entire list costs absolutely nothing, and is the one that quietly makes half of everything else actually function. It is also the item people skip most frequently. So stay with me through the end, because if you stop watching after item 8, you will miss the piece that pulls all of this together. Here is my plan for the next several minutes. I will go through the complete list, covering credits, rebates, free services, and exemptions. And for every single one, I will tell you precisely who is eligible, exactly how to claim it, and the one error that causes people to walk away empty-handed. Straightforward language, no complicated terminology. This is not a scheme. It is not a sales pitch, and nothing here is for sale. This is your own government's money and programs you have already contributed to over an entire career. My only purpose is to make sure you are actually collecting what belongs to you, instead of leaving it for whoever happened to know the right words to say when they picked up the phone. One quick request before we begin. Hit subscribe so content like this actually finds its way back to you, because this is precisely the kind of information that gets swallowed up in fine print and overlooked. Bill number 1. Your Medicare Part B premium. Let us begin with the largest check most seniors hand over every single month without stopping to question it. The standard Medicare Part B premium for 2026 is $185.00 per month. It is typically pulled directly from your Social Security payment before you ever lay eyes on it. Over the course of a year, that is more than $2,200 gone before you have spent anything on anything else. Here is what almost no one mentions. A collection of programs known as the Medicare Savings Programs, referred to as QMBB, SLMBB, and QI, can have your state cover that entire Part B premium on your behalf every single month, and redirect that money straight back into your Social Security deposit. Imagine a retiree getting by on roughly $1,700 a month, who has been watching over $185 vanish every month for years. Getting approved for one of these programs works like an unexpected monthly raise appearing out of nowhere. People miss this benefit because they assume they earn too much, typically because the income thresholds they have in mind are years out of date. The real limits extend well into the mid-hundreds per month range for a single person, with higher ceilings for couples, and they are reviewed and adjusted on a regular basis. You apply through your state Medicaid office, and here is the bonus. If you qualify specifically at the QMBB level, it does not merely eliminate your premium, it also wipes away your Medicare deductibles and co-payments at the doctor's office entirely. Bill number 1 addressed. Bill number 2, your prescription drugs, and this is the fresh update for 2026. Beginning this year, there is a firm annual ceiling on what you personally pay out of pocket for covered medications under Medicare Part D. That ceiling sits at $2,100. Once your out-of-pocket spending on covered prescriptions reaches $2,100 within a calendar year, your plan absorbs 100% of the cost of covered drugs for the remainder of that year. For perspective, this cap was positioned at $8,000 back in 2024, fell to $2,000 in 2025, and this year nudges upward slightly to $2,100, adjusted for inflation under the Inflation Reduction Act. Consider what that means for someone managing an expensive specialty medication, who just a few years back might have been paying $6,000 or $7,000 annually out of pocket. Their maximum exposure now stands at $2,100, and this benefit is automatic. There is no application required. Your plan simply monitors your spending. There is also a Medicare prescription payment plan that allows you to spread that $2,100 across manageable monthly installments, rather than absorbing one enormous charge in January. But here is what people consistently overlook. If your income is limited, a program called Extra Help, formerly known as the Part D Low Income Subsidy, can reduce your drug premiums, deductible, and co-payments down to nearly zero long before you would ever come close to that $2,100 ceiling. You apply for Extra Help directly through Social Security at ssa.gov, and it remains one of the most consistently underclaimed benefits available to seniors today. Bill number 3, your property tax. This is the one I've personally watched drain the most money from families over the full length of a retirement. Nearly every state has built some form of senior relief directly into its property tax structure, though it carries different names depending on your location. A homestead exemption, a senior valuation freeze, a circuit breaker that limits your tax bill to a set percentage of your income. Some states lock in the taxable value of your home the year you turn 65, so even as surrounding property values climb steadily, your assessment remains exactly where it was. Picture continuing to live in the home where you raised your children, watching the neighbourhood grow more expensive every year, while your tax bill simply stops moving. Other states subtract a flat dollar amount directly from your bill, and some allow you to defer the tax altogether. You owe nothing at present, and the balance is settled quietly from the home's value later, frequently at the time it is sold or transferred to heirs. You claim this benefit at your county assessor's or treasurer's office, usually through a single one-page document. Here is the catch that costs people the most. In many locations, you are required to refile or renew this benefit periodically, or it silently expires, and your full bill returns without any notification. So contact your county, request the senior exemption, or freeze by name, and ask the one question that truly matters. Do I need to renew this, and if so, how frequently? Bill number 4, the extra standard deduction. You receive simply for turning 60. Most people never update their withholding or their filing approach to reflect this. But on top of the standard deduction every taxpayer receives, reaching age 65 unlocks an additional standard deduction stacked directly on top. For the 2026 tax year, that is an extra $2,000 if you are single or filing as head of household, and $1,650 per qualifying spouse if you are married. That is $3,300 total for a couple where both partners are 65 or older. And here is the genuinely new element. Running exclusively for tax years 2025 through 2028, there is now a separate additional senior deduction of $6,000 per qualifying individual aged 65 or older, or $12,000 for a married couple where both spouses meet the requirement. This one begins phasing out once your income surpasses $75,000 for single filers, or $150,000 for married couples filing jointly. You do not need to itemize to access any portion of this. Every component stacks directly onto the standard deduction. Taken together, this represents thousands of dollars of income. The government simply stops taxing, which is a primary reason so many retirees end up owing little or absolutely nothing at all. But, and this thread runs through every item on this entire list, none of it works for you unless your tax return is actually completed in a way that captures it, which is precisely what the free resource at the end of this list takes care of. Bill number 5, the credit for the elderly or the disabled. This is a credit almost no one claims and virtually nobody has encountered before. It is a long-standing IRS credit filed on a form called Schedule R, designed for people 65 and older living on lower incomes. I want to be precise about the word credit here because it matters considerably. A deduction reduces the income you are taxed on, while a credit comes directly off the actual tax you owe, dollar for dollar, making it a far more powerful tool. The income thresholds for this one are narrow, so it is aimed squarely at seniors whose finances consist primarily of Social Security plus a modest pension. But for the individuals it fits, it can eliminate their federal tax bill entirely. It goes unclaimed largely because it lives on a separate form that even some paid preparers rush past without pausing. So ask for it specifically by name. The credit for the elderly or the disabled, Schedule R. And the free filing assistance mentioned at the end of this list knows precisely how to claim it accurately. Now, you may be sitting there wondering something entirely reasonable. If every bit of this is real, and it absolutely is, why is there not a letter waiting in your mailbox the day you turn 65, walking you through each one? The straightforward answer, the one I arrived at after watching it play out with family after family, is that it is simply nobody's assigned responsibility to notify you. Your county is not staffed to telephone every homeowner and remind them to submit an exemption form. Medicare is not going to contact you about the program that would eliminate your premium entirely. These benefits are genuine, legal, and yours by right, but nearly all of them are opt-in arrangements. You must raise your hand and request them by name. The people who know the names receive the money. The people waiting to be informed wait indefinitely. That is the entire reason these videos exist. Consider this your letter arriving in the mail. Bill number 6. Your groceries. This program contains a rule written in specifically for older adults that reshapes who is actually eligible. If your income is limited, you may qualify for SNAP, which is food assistance loaded onto a card you use at the grocery store, like any other payment method. Here is where seniors consistently go wrong. They do quick mental arithmetic, conclude they earn slightly too much, and never submit an application. But a household containing someone 60 or older is permitted to subtract out-of-pocket medical expenses, including Medicare premiums, co-payments, and prescription costs, from the income SNAP counts toward eligibility. So a senior spending a few $100s monthly on medical care might appear to earn too much on the surface, and actually qualify once those costs are subtracted out. That can translate into a meaningful reduction in your monthly grocery spending. You apply through your state's SNAP or Human Services office, and it is worth submitting an application even if you believe you are just slightly above the threshold, precisely because of that medical expense deduction. Bill number 7. Your heating and cooling bill. For a senior managing a fixed income, this is not a luxury item. It is genuinely a safety matter. The program is called LIHEAP, the Low Income Home Energy Assistance Program, and it assists with covering your utility costs. In many states, it also provides emergency assistance when a furnace breaks down in the dead of winter or temperatures reach dangerous levels in summer, situations that for an older adult can represent a genuine health risk. Seniors on fixed incomes are designated as a priority population within this program. My single recommendation here is to apply early in the season because the program operates on allocated funding, and in some areas, the annual allocation is exhausted before winter even reaches its worst weeks. You apply through your state or local LIHEAP office, and in most locations, you are eligible to reapply on an annual basis. Bill number 8. Your phone and internet bill. I want to be accurate here and direct you specifically to the program that is genuinely still operational. You may recall a larger internet discount initiative from a couple of years back. That one has concluded, but the original program called Lifeline remains active, providing up to $9.25 per month off your phone or internet bill and up to $34.25 per month if you reside on qualifying tribal lands. You are eligible if your household income is at or below 135% of the federal poverty guidelines, or if you are already enrolled in a program such as SNAP or Medicaid. That connection is worth noting because several items on this list open doors directly to one another. You apply through the National Verifier at lifelinesupport.org, or simply ask your current phone or internet provider to enroll you in their Lifeline plan directly. Bill number 9. Dental, vision, and hearing. These are the three categories original Medicare famously excludes from coverage, and they quietly deplete a senior's savings faster than almost anything else on this list. A single set of dentures, one pair of prescription glasses, and a set of hearing aids can easily run into several $1,000s combined. Here is where to find coverage for them. If you qualify for Medicaid, many states include all three services. If you are enrolled in a Medicare Advantage plan, the majority now include annual dental, vision, and hearing allowances that members simply forget they have access to. Contact your plan directly and ask with clarity, what is my dental allowance, my vision allowance, and my hearing allowance for this year? Use these benefits before the calendar year ends because they typically expire and do not carry forward. Beyond that, your local senior centre and any nearby dental school or optometry school will frequently provide examinations, cleanings, and fittings, either at no charge or at a substantially reduced price. Bill number 10, a collection of everyday charges that accumulates faster than you would expect. Nearly every city bus and public transit system in the country offers a reduced or completely free fare for seniors. You simply need to request the senior card and carry it with you. Most major banks offer a senior checking account that carries no monthly maintenance fee, no minimum balance requirement, and free checks. They will not automatically move you to the better account since the fees are part of how they generate revenue. You have to specifically request the switch yourself. And then there is the simplest habit on this entire list, one that pays dividends for the rest of your life. At the pharmacy counter, the parks, the museums, movie theatres, hardware stores, and restaurants, make it a habit to ask 4 words. Do you offer a senior discount? A surprising number of businesses do, and the overwhelming majority never post a sign about it. You only receive it when you ask for it. Bill number 11, a second monthly payment. Most people do not realise they can receive. It is called SSI, Supplemental Security Income. If you are 65 or older with very limited income and minimal savings, SSI pays up to $967 per month for an individual in 2026 and can sit directly alongside a modest Social Security payment. Picture a widow receiving a small Social Security benefit, just a few $100s monthly, because her own employment history was limited. SSI can bring her total monthly income up toward that federal benefit level and meaningfully transform her financial situation. And in most states, being approved for SSI automatically grants access to Medicaid, which brings you directly back to the free dental, vision, and hearing coverage discussed earlier. You apply through Social Security at ssa.gov or by calling them on the phone. Do not talk yourself out of applying because you assume your income is too high. Allow them to make that determination on your behalf. Bill number 12. The one I asked you to stay for. A tax preparer. Think carefully about this. Every tax credit and deduction discussed on this list, the extra standard deduction, the $6,000 senior deduction, the credit for the elderly on Schedule R, only benefits you if your return is filled out accurately enough to actually capture it. And you do not need to pay a preparer $200, $300, or $400 to make that happen. The IRS operates 2 free programs, VITA and TCE, Tax Counseling for the Elderly, which specialises specifically in the circumstances seniors encounter. Trained, IRS-certified volunteers prepare your complete tax return from beginning to end at absolutely no cost. On top of that, AARP operates its own free service called TaxAid, established in libraries and senior centres across the entire country. You do not need to be an AARP member to take advantage of it. These are the individuals who know exactly how to locate and properly claim every single credit named throughout this list. That is the free key that unlocks everything else. People who use it walk away with every benefit properly captured. People who bypass it leave money sitting uncollected on the table. Here is what to do. This week, because I do not want this to become another video you nod along with and forget before the evening is over, here are 3 concrete actions. First, contact your county and inquire about the senior property tax exemption, or freeze, and whether it requires periodic renewal. That is the benefit that silently resets and costs people the greatest amount of money over time. Second, if your finances are in any way stretched, call your state Medicaid office about the Medicare savings programs and submit an application for extra help at ssa.gov. Those 2 actions alone can be worth several $1,000s annually to the right household. Third, before tax season arrives, schedule a free appointment with VITA TCE, or AARP, tax aid, and bring this list along with you. That single free visit is what converts everything discussed here into actual money returned to your pocket. This is general information intended to point you in a useful direction, not tax or legal counsel. Programs, dollar amounts, and income thresholds shift over time and differ by state. So always verify your individual eligibility with the relevant agency or a qualified professional before taking action. But understand this clearly, the money is real, the programs already exist, and you contributed to every one of them across a lifetime of working. This is not charity. It belongs to you. Now go collect it. One final thing. Share this with someone over 65 who is quietly paying full price on every item discussed here, because they are the ones who need this information most urgently, and nobody is ever going to pick up the phone and call to tell them, "I will see you in the next one."